conclude, is it actually worth owning and buying a sit-stand desk? In my personal experience, in my opinion, I would go ahead and say, hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. My name is Marzan, and in this video I just want to share my experience of owning a sit-stand desk after several years. Now I know some of you out there, maybe you've been thinking about purchasing a sit-stand desk, but you're just not sure whether to go ahead or not, or maybe you're looking to buy a new desk. Maybe you've got a new place or a new setup and you want to look to buy a new desk, but you're just not sure whether to get a sit-stand desk or just a normal conventional desk. So I hope this video can maybe help some of you guys in terms of providing you guidance as to whether it's worth it for yourself or not to get one, and that's what I aim to achieve in this video. Now in this video I am going to keep it pretty vlog style, nothing too fancy. I just want to keep it quite raw and kind of like straight to the point in this specific video. But if you have any questions, please do let me know below. If you want me to do any follow-ups, if you want me to if you're curious about anything that's actually on the desk, then please do also let me know. Now just to begin with, this is not a video specifically talking about this make and model of desk, although I can share and say what it is and how it works, but it's just more of the idea of getting a sit-stand desk in the first place. Firstly, to begin with, for those who have never heard of a sit-stand desk term before, like the name implies, basically it's a desk which allows you to be in a seating position, or with a crank of a lever in some cases, or pressing of a button, it allows you to have the desk raised to your desired height. Now, like I kind of mentioned before, I don't want to specifically go into this product itself, but I'm sure some of you out there are curious to know which one I have. And in this case I have a FlexiSpot sit-stand desk, which was a more affordable option at the time. The desk that I have is actually more so the frame itself rather than the desktop. The desktop I purchased from IKEA and just kind of hacked it up a little bit. So the functionality of this specific desk, it goes up, down, and allows you to basically, you're able to set different levels of height at different using this sort of like memory function. So number one is my seating function, like you saw in the beginning of this clip. Number two, for example, you can set to whatever you want. Maybe someone else uses it in the family. Or for me, for example, I have it raised slightly higher than level 1, just for when I'm eating occasionally. And number three, I use to have the desk at a standing position. So just kind of give my personal experience. The reason why I actually purchased this sit-stand desk in the first place was because during COVID times and lockdown, obviously we weren't really able to go out for a good time. And I was living in a small apartment which didn't really have much room, and what I found was that over time I was getting quite a lot of back pain and discomfort, and just having just a general inability to sort of like move around. Now I purchased this desk in hoping that it will alleviate some of those discomfort, and just kind of go straight into it, it actually did. I would say though, when I first bought it, for some time I did forget that the desk had its functionality, because I think it's in its ways kind of looks kind of discreet, and especially when things opened up slightly more, there were times where I totally forgot about it and didn't even use it for like a couple months. I also found something kind of what I didn't expect was basically when I was doing more important work or more important tasks, what I'd do is that I'd always have it in a seating position, but when I was doing lighter work, for example, just like emails or very simple tasks, I was okay to kind of stand up. I think it was just more so because I wasn't really used to the functionality of being able to sort of concentrate in that manner using a computer standing rather. However, obviously when things opened up, it was good for me to actually see what it was like owning this and using this in its, I guess, quote, normal terms. What I found was that I actually have become so much more accustomed to using this, and I really do enjoy it. You know, a lot of us out there have some sort of like remote jobs or hybrid type of jobs, which requires us to sit at a desk and do our work. And for me, this really does help, because what it does for me is that it allows me to alleviate my discomfort from just constantly sitting, because not only are we sitting at our desks, maybe we're afterwards we might be relaxing and maybe we might be sitting on the couch, or maybe we're traveling, which might require us to also sit down as well, like when you're in the car and such. So something to mention is that, like I mentioned about the tasks, when I used to do more heavier tasks, I used to sit down. Over time, I'll say even in like last 6 months or so, I've not particularly recorded it, but say over like at least the last 6 months or so, I have been able to sort of transition from doing my lighter task to my heavier task while standing up, which is really cool. The thing that I really like about this is that whilst the desk is in its standing position, I think unintentionally I find myself moving my body a lot more than I would do sitting down. Because I'm already standing up, what I find myself doing is, for example, if there's something loading or I just need a quick few minutes break or a bit of a breather, I just end up walking around the house a little bit more, or in the room, or doing a bit of stretches, or just a very few minute light workout of like whatever it is. Could be like just air squats or anything. I think it just happens more naturally and more in a free form flow. Whereas obviously when you're sitting down, I think you have to make a bit more of a conscious effort to really, although it might sound very small to do, I think it's just the mental transition of the conscious effort of actually, moving your chair away, getting up and moving your body around. So I do really like that about having a standing desk. It's just the ability to move my body more freely, and which is obviously very good, because again, it does help alleviate some of the pain and can obviously improve your mobility because you're actually moving around a bit more also. Now, another thing that I'd like to mention is that we all know, a lot of us do know, that sitting for extended periods of time isn't actually good for us. We know that it can cause future health problems. I won't go into that in this specific video, but it can cause future health problems, which it's always better to try and mitigate as early on as possible, sooner rather than later. However, there's just something that I want to stress about owning a sit-stand desk. Yes, the functionality is amazing, the ability to sit when you want to sit, stand when you want to stand, and yes, it can encourage you to move around more than you would sitting down, and yes, it can alleviate and reduce some of your pains or discomfort that you might have. Obviously, depending on everyone, it could be different, but I would say it is not an alternative to exercise. I highly stress that you still do need to do exercise, whether it's walking, whether it's gym, or whatever other sports that you may have. This is not an alternative for that. It just can be a useful tool to support you in your job. For example, if you're working full-time and you're at a desk for long extended periods of time. Conclude, is it actually worth owning and buying a sit-stand desk? In my personal experience, in my opinion, I would go ahead and say yes. And the reason why is because I'm at this desk for extended periods of time, not only for my full-time job, but also for leisure. And having the tool and the ability to sit or stand is very useful for me, and this allows me to be more free-flowing and feel a lot better and alleviate some of that discomfort and pain that I used to have. Some of you out there might want to buy this because you just don't like to sit around in one place for too long, and that's why something like this could be very useful for you. Like some of you out there, how I kind of got into buying one of these is that you were triggered also because of some sort of pain or discomfort of sitting around for too long in one place. Maybe you got like lower back pains, etc. I'll advise, consult your doctor if you need to, but something like this could help. I'm not saying it will help, it could help, or it just might be a nice thing to have anyway. For some of you out there, maybe you're moving around a lot anyway. Say for example, your job requires you to travel very often, you're getting out and about quite often, even after work, etc. You're doing exercises, this might not even necessarily cross your mind, but maybe you just came across this video. But it still could be very useful for you because you might find it something that you'd be interested in. So overall, obviously, it kind of depends on you. It depends on your individual lifestyle and your own individual requirements and needs. I think for me, I would consider this as an investment more than anything. So whether you don't use its function much or not, I'll still consider it useful because it's there whenever you want it. So I hope this video has helped some of you guys. If you've seen any value in this video at all, I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe and hit the like so you can see more content in the future. If you do have any sort of questions regarding the sit-stand desk, what we've kind of already discussed in terms of its functionality or even the product itself, I can make that happen. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys later.